Da-da-da-da-da. Hi, and welcome to the Diablo podcast, your home for Diablo diehards, tryhards, casual, and hardcore alike. I am your host, Xanth, and I am joined today by my two lovely co-hosts, Nerdwords.
Hello.
That was different. And Nineball.
Scratchy voice.
Oh, hi.
It's like episode 90? 89,
Ooh.
maybe it
Okay.
90,
Is
89,
there a 9 in there somewhere?
somewhere. I've stopped keeping count at this point. When we deviate from certain things, it becomes interesting to me. It throws me off my game. Um, but we're not here to talk about these greetings and informalities and what have you. We're here to talk about Diablo. We are on the precipice of a new Diablo season. We got a new developer live stream, campfire chat, or whatever we happen to be calling it. Uh, we got all the details about what to expect in season 10, and we have our plans of our own. But before we get into that, we got Yang back. We
We
got Yang
did.
back.
We did.
We did. It's true.
Nimeball, could you provide some clarity about getting Yang back? Who's Yang? Why is this important?
Uh,
What does this mean?
yeah, John Yang was on the Diablo 3 development team for a very long time before going over to, I believe, WoW and then Hearthstone, and then leaving Blizzard. And then now he's coming back to work on Diablo again. But he's extremely passionate, a great developer, and like apparently like an amazing like FPS player as well, from the stories that I've heard.
He's also really big into Path of Exile, getting multiple level 100s in the time that the game has been out, which I think is a good sign. Like, I think it's good, one, to be passionate about Diablo, but also be passionate about your competition so you can beg, borrow, and steal. Like, take good where you can find it instead of operating in just a bubble, right? I think it's dangerous to assume that you have all the answers. Why not see what else other people are cooking up and utilize them? Um, welcome back, John Yang. Welcome back to Sanctuary. In other words, do you have anything to say to John Yang? I know you have a mutual dislike. He did shun you at a public event once. You were saying something about that. I thought it was really weird that you brought it up.
None of this is true. None of this is true. None of this is true. The two times I did get to go to BlizzCon, the first time I did not get to meet John Yang. The second time I did, and he was a fantastic human. He was wonderful. Really easy to talk to. Really easy to talk to. That was, in the Wyatt Chang era too, when he was doing his oh god, we gather people around and tell story time with Wyatt. Yeah.
Story time
Um,
with Wyatt.
yeah, that was also a very connected time in the history of the Diablo community, right? Where we were a lot more, or at least a lot more able to connect in person at those events, which was super fun. No, John was always super impressive as a developer. When they had him on live streams and when he spoke to the game, he has a passion that comes through in everything he says and does, and a knowledge that is really, really potent. I've always really, really enjoyed when they had him on live streams before, and I mean, there's a very short list of names that joining the development team of Diablo would go, oh, and John Yang is one of them, right? So that's very cool. I'm very excited about it, and yeah, excited to see what he's going to do with the team moving forward.
Yeah, they very very passionate developer about like games, ARPGs in particular. Also just like it's like as I mentioned, like with his FPS history, just a very high level player in like
Yeah.
everything that he does. Like he is like he's one of those ones that would be like pushing regular like back in the D3 days, he'd be pushing like top 10 placements on the leaderboards for any of the classes that he played and such. So yeah.
Yeah, always good to see somebody come back. And with a little time away, to kind of maybe see what else is out there. Take a break as well. I think that's always the danger for anybody when you work in the same game or same genre for too long to step out and then come back with a renewed vigor and passion. Awesome. Looking forward
Yeah.
to what he brings. Maybe we'll see him on a campfire or something down the road. I think that would be kind of cool. But we'll come to the campfire in a moment. Gentlemen, we've hit a lull with Diablo, especially like on the precipice of a new season. I think the second I start finding out about what, you know, season 10 was going to be, when that PTR hit, everything starts to wane. And I think that's the thing that we'll see with just kind of the way the cycle is. So it's the week before the season. What are you playing before it starts?
Mm. 9.
I mean, do I have to answer? Is that not a given? I'm playing a necromancer.
No,
Like,
no. I mean,
who?
like, what are you playing
No, no,
right
no, no,
now?
no.
I know
Oh,
what
Like
you're
oh,
going
before
to
the
what?
season.
play.
Oh,
What do you
before.
what are
Oh,
you
I'm
playing
actually
to tide like to kill the time beforehand?
the fall sale on the PSN just started, and so I picked up Ghost of Tsushima, and so
Oh,
I've
okay.
been going through and playing that. Yeah.
Awesome. I actually have not been playing much. I literally haven't fired up a video game, and probably aside from so Jasmine and I, my girlfriend and I, both play video games quite a bit, and I have been trying to get her to play a game with me for about 2 years now, and finally convinced her. So we've been playing video games on our date night. I finally got her to commit to a Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough. So we are playing Baldur's Gate 3 for her first fresh playthrough, which is super fun. I've played that game backwards, forwards, sideways, and everything in between. But I love it, and it's always fun to take a new player through the experience that hasn't played it before. She's been getting really into D&D, so seeing the video game side of D&D has been really fun. Um, so yeah, that's it. I haven't played much, but every Thursday for the last 3 weeks we've played that, and other than that, I've literally not even fired up fired up a game in a
Hmm,
while because I just haven't had anything or the time really.
crazy. I mean, also, if you could tell me how you're able to make a significant other want to do that, I would appreciate it. That
Wear them
sounds
down over
exciting.
2 years.
Uh,
Just tell stories, get them to fall in love with the voice actors and how adorable they are in real life. She
Some
specifically loves Neil Newbon because, right, like he's so charming and wonderful. So just like, hey, you can hang out with him as a character in our party, right? Right.
Okay.
So just
It does sound like
yeah,
it sounds like a lot of work. I don't want to plan that
it is. Yeah.
far ahead. Um, it's fine. Uh, I'll just play by myself. Um, Speaking of playing by myself, I've been playing a lot of the newest Path of Exile 2 League, which has been phenomenal. Um, the last league was a little lackluster. The seasonal mechanic wasn't quite up to par, whereas this one feels much more fully fleshed out. Path of Exile leagues have shifted to 4 months, which I don't think this has got 4 months worth of legs, but it's definitely going to be hard to pry myself away from it for next week because it's hit its stride. There's a lot of different layers. Trading in Path of Exile has been made significantly easier, where essentially you have your in-game auction house to kind of go and barter with. It has made the hooks of the game feel so much stronger, and it's been awesome. And then in tandem with that, Hollow Knight Silk Song came out, and
Mm.
that's just a gorgeous, cute little game to take with you. Have a good little time. I will just grab the Switch 2, and whenever I'm waiting for my kids for the million things that they are now involved in, I can just boot that up and play. If Diablo 4 was on Switch 2, I'd be doing that. But since it isn't, we'll do Silk Song and then Hades 2 when that comes out. Uh,
Jasmine's actually been playing Silk Song herself. That's what she's been playing a lot in between our Baldur's Gate sessions. So
nice. Um, yeah, so all good things. I said I would give a fantasy book update. I'm on the last book of the First Law trilogy. The second book was really good, but also really upset me with the ending. Um,
mm-hmm.
yeah, I won't say
Don't
anything.
worry.
I won't say anything else. Don't.
You're you're about to get more upset.
Great, great, great. Um,
Yeah.
I'm ready to be heard again, so this is fine.
Yeah.
Um, why didn't Why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you? You know what? It's fine. I'm an adult. I'm a big boy. I can read books that disappoint me. It's not about the
That,
feeling
that
that I'm carrying
that's the
with
book
me.
that I just read.
Really?
Yeah, the Warded Man. It's a
Okay.
very interesting premise, and all that, but definitely reading through it is just like the author's thinly veiled fetish
Ooh.
of sexual assaults, just every other chapter, and it's just like I can't go.
Yeah.
This
No.
yeah, it's completely lost me. So yeah, yeah.
No. That's well. I'll add that to the list of not to read.
Uh,
So that's cool.
I can highly recommend to just pass on that book if you ever see it suggested.
Okay. So thankfully, somebody's going to timestamp this for when we actually get into the Diablo stuff, so we can have a little chat. And I do appreciate the commenter who did that because I get it. You know, like you're like, oh, let's just get to it. But sometimes you just want to chat books with the boys. Sometimes you want to chat other games with the boys, and then for the most of the time, you're just talking D with the boys. So we should talk D. Uh, Diablo. That's right, Diablo. Uh, Diablo season 10 is right around the corner, and we just had our live stream. Gentlemen, before we dig into the contents, what were your thoughts on the change in live stream? We aren't getting double campfire chats anymore due to the redundancy of talking about the exact same things over and over. So there was a small little chat on Discord a few weeks ago, which we had talked about. Um, so we have a new format for these kind of going forward. What were your thoughts?
Big fan of them pre-recording content for people that obviously don't spend a lot of time talking to people, right? I think that pre-recording content is important so that it comes across a little smoother and it removes some of that awkwardness for people that maybe aren't super comfortable in front of a camera or super comfortable going through those processes. It can be difficult to practice or go through those pieces. So I thought that landed a lot better, and I think overall it was a little more concise, a little more succinct, a little more focused. I think that was good. For me, who I love them going on and on about all this stuff. I could watch it forever, but it was much easier for me to jump in and kind of digest the whole thing, get through it, and then move on. I thought it was good. I thought it was good overall, for sure.
I have only read a text-based summary of the video.
Hmm.
It broadcasted while I was at work. It's been a busy period of time, and I've not had a chance to actually go and watch it because, as I've mentioned before, I can't just. It's very difficult for me to sit down and watch like an hour-long video when I could be doing
Yeah.
other things.
Um, totally fair. I mean, it's about the information more than the delivery. I could say the only thing that really bothered me was the background music the whole time.
Mm.
Like I was sitting there listening on headphones, and I could hear that background music just like still where sometimes it was a little distracting. That's like the most nitpicky thing I can probably bring up. Like, there was a little
A
music in the
little bit.
background, and it was distracting because I wanted to focus on the words that you were saying. But I wonder, like you were talking about the prepackaged stuff that was kind of rolled out.
Yeah.
Does this need to be live anymore?
No.
I
I mean,
mean,
just no.
well, it was. I think that I had talked about like if when they had mentioned the format change, maybe that they're just going to pre-record some of this information because like that aspect of it doesn't need to be. If you're just going to be going over like the PTR changes in the patch notes and such, that doesn't have to be live. That can just be shortcutted B-roll footage and type stuff. But then maybe the in-depth talking about it or just like the Q&A to answer people's questions and such would be that is still nice having it live.
I agree on that, but like I think the thing that's always going to happen with these pre-recorded versus not the questions that they choose are never going to be the ones that are probably the loudest in the comments and stuff like that. Like it just feels like I don't think it needs to be live anymore. I don't know. I don't think anything's lost by losing that element. If anything, maybe you can then allow for it to be more concise. You can still choose questions submitted, but that's what it always just feels like anyway. Maybe lose the pretense around it. I'm like, hey, these are some of the questions we've seen crop up. We're going to answer them instead of like, oh, we'll be watching the Twitch chat. Like, I don't know. Because if you're really watching the Twitch chat, it's filled with a bunch of assholes spamming D4 bad. And I don't know how you see a goddamn question in any of that. So,
Yeah.
like, look, obviously they have a better idea of like how much reach and what have you that they might have with it and whether or not it's good. But like you, Nineball, like you're not even really it doesn't matter if it's live for you if you're not going to tune in. I didn't tune into it live either. I wonder how many people actually are that it would need that part as opposed to just dropping a longer video that's a little bit more packaged and polished and running with that. Like I
Well, I mean, at this point, you say that you have like all of the assholes in chat. They're just going through and saying D4 bad. Well, if they do swap from being live to just completely pre-recorded, including the questions, that will intensify greatly because now they're cowards.
right. Well,
You
it's
know,
damned if you
yeah.
do, damned if you don't in that regard.
It what I mean, it's 100%, yeah, but it just gives more fuel for the fire.
Yeah. But this is nitpicky. At the
I
end of the
mean, because
day,
that
it's
was that. I just want to go through and say because there was a internet argument on Reddit that I had seen and slightly participated in where people were getting mad at the people were getting mad at Blizzard because they had mentioned that we won't be doing the chat before the PTR. We're just doing it afterwards, but we will push up the developer the developer chat on the Sanctuary Discord, which they've been doing regularly, but people for whatever reason just ignored that that aspect existed and thought that, oh, they're just doing the entire thing through Discord now through their official channel, and so they're not putting it up on Twitch or YouTube and such. And it was like, no, they never said that. They said they're just going to do that differently. It's like, well, they said they're changing the format. Yeah, that doesn't mean that they're not doing the live stream anymore. And I was right. They still did the live stream on Twitch and YouTube because apparently the person listens to the podcast. Uh,
just,
so
cover your
I
bases.
just want to say I was correct. And you owe me an apology. Um,
they
you know,
they
but
do?
it's just it's like I said, like people were getting mad at the aspect that they could possibly be not doing a live show anymore, and so
Right.
let alone what people will get mad at, if they do actually stop it.
I mean, I guess the other part too, and I pulled it up because I was just curious. On YouTube right now, the total views for that update is only 28,000. So like, I mean, maybe it is just easier to hit live record and go with it instead of doing something that's longer in production if that's the kind of reach that it's getting. And I'm not besmirching 28,000 views. We would love that. But for how big it is, like after 10 seasons, there's not as many people tuning in on a smaller season. I could see like, hey, why not just drop a video about it? We don't have to go through the big rigmarole to go on live to deal with that stress. Drop a video and we'll go live when it's the big news. We'll go live when it's the expansion. We'll go live when it's, all I don't know, bigger things. But whatever, maybe they just wanted to spend their day that way. And that's fine. Maybe we should talk about the content. Maybe we should talk about what we actually saw, um,
Or red.
or read. You choose the verb that best applies to you in this sense, and we will honor it. Um, we'll move right into what was your verb for it. And well, I saw it and I listened to it. Well, I read it. Okay, that's great. We all verbed it. So let's go into the content. Nobody here played the PTR, correct?
No.
Okay. And I think this is one I think I wanted to, but I got distracted by other things. I'm based on this, and I had seen some PTRing, but I am looking forward to this season. From the druid perspective, there's a lot of things that I saw there that are appealing to me. A tornado that seems to want to be tornado-y. Um, like,
A little more focused.
yeah, it'll target things and then like sweep them up in it like a tornado does. It's really weird, like a tornado that tornadoes. Um, and then, you know, essentially having the ability to summon a whole bunch of ravens when I'm doing other stuff. Yes, please. I want a flock of ravens. I think that sounds cool. Yeah, so that was my buy-in right there. All you really just give me the ability to summon a bunch of ravens, a tornado that operates like a tornado. Yeah, you got Xanth. I'm in. I'm in for this. I think the other part too, in terms of appealing, was having a chase, like chaos armor, not necessarily being a you know where to get it. You don't know if it's a guarantee. Instead of just spamming Duriel for or whatever boss you're wanting, doing a bunch of Helltide or Infernal Hordes, which is already exciting with the opportunity to go and do Bartuk. I could see that being an interesting loop. I could see that being fun, having a chase a little bit. But that's my initial
And it's also,
impressions.
I mean, I will definitely mirror what you're saying there, just because, like, Infernal Hordes is infinitely more fun than doing a layer boss for an
Right.
hour.
Yeah, like it is it enough to vault this season into the upper echelon? Is it enough to change any of those core issues with the game? No, but is it going to be fun for the duration? Is it going to be fun for getting in there and changing things up? Yeah, I think it will, and I think there's enough there to carry me for a little while, maybe more than what last season did as well. But what were your impressions? What were you taking away from what we saw with these new chaos? Like, I didn't feel anything about chaos powers, but it's the chaos armor. It's going back to infernal hordes that like was exciting to me.
Edwards?
Oh, to me? Sorry, I didn't know. Yeah, I mean, the chaos armor is really exciting for me because there's so many, like we talked about before, so many pieces that are locked away for a sorceress on certain parts of your gear, and highly competitive pieces of loot too, right? I love that they expanded the chaos armor. Like, in the live stream they announced a new item for each class, a class specific chaos piece. And for sorcerer it was Asus, which is a pretty generic piece that is hugely helpful all the time. It's the boots that give you crit chance and movement speed. Um, Now that can drop on a chest or gloves or helmet or whatever, and that's awesome because every build will try to use that for a sorcerer because it's just really strong. But there's a lot of builds that have competitive pieces in that boot slot. So I'm really curious to see how the season's going to play out because I do think it's going to shake things up quite a bit. Um, it will be interesting. I hope it doesn't just end up going down the same avenues as before. I really like the idea of chaos armor in general, but seeing Asus get added to the list kind of it made that even more exciting for me as a sorceress player, for sure. Um, Beyond that, I mean, I think the chaos armor is going to be interesting to explore just in general, right? Like, I think I like the idea of like I'm not sure if you guys kind of got into a lot of the different pieces for sorcerers. I know you said you read it, Nine, but the like charge bolt build sounds really fun. I would be really excited to play a charge bolt build if it really does work well. My worry is it'll just evolve into a lightning spear build because a lot of the items will probably still work for that and crackling energy and all that stuff too. But I have hope that there will be a significant shakeup in the sorceress meta. and the chaos pieces seem to be really interesting. Like you said, the chaos powers don't really interest me. I mean, like there's definitely some interesting ideas there with the whole switching, core powers for ultimate skills, and being able to span. Like there's some interesting pieces there, but until I play with it, and I didn't get a chance to play PTR, it's hard to say. But it is exciting, and like you said, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I haven't had a lot of game time recently, so I'm kind of saving my gaming energy for the Diablo season. I won't be able to play until the weekend because God forbid we keep doing these damn launches on Tuesdays, and I hate it so much. I have to work all week, so I can't. But once Friday comes, as long as my friends aren't bored with the season already, I will have a group to play with, and it'll be fun. But I really, really, really like want to see how this chaos armor thing plays out.
Yeah, and for the exact opposite reasons that Nerdword just mentioned, I'm still, as I said in the last episode, not terribly excited for like the Chaos armor. Like it is cool, it is interesting, but like for the Necromancer, I just feel like they weren't none of the items were really competing with one another, for any of the slots. And so it's just like now you can shift things around, the Ring of Mendelin you can put on like your boots instead of so it frees up an offensive slot for your ring. And that's while more beneficial, not really exciting. There wasn't really for the way that the Necromancer and their uniques are set up, there is very few instances where you ever have two items competing for the same slot. On one side, that's a perk of playing the class in not this season because you don't really have to make those choices, but then in this season it just kind of like feels like, well, okay, the number will be higher, the number is higher, but it's more of some of the actual like structural changes for the Necromancer, like the change to Wither and such, that it now benefits crit builds instead of just dot builds, but also only benefits you when you're pushing and is useless in any other form of content. Because like a built-in like it's the 20% chance to do 300% damage, which is just a 60% damage buff, but
Hmm.
if you're killing things in one hit, you won't feel the difference. And if you're killing things in two hits, you really only feel that you have that damage boost every fifth skill cast, and so it doesn't actually like really help you that much in any way. Except in the situation where you're like pushing, like pits or doing difficult content. And so it's kind of like almost feels like a nothing burger. Obviously, that's just reading it. I didn't play the PTR, so I won't be able to say for sure until I get in there and go through and check it out. But yeah, maybe I'll try Sever build that I haven't played in a couple seasons just because minions have been a lot of fun. But yeah, and also to mimic what you guys have said, the chaos perks, it's they're new borrowed power mechanic. It'll be interesting to see the again, even though I said I was probably want to play something other than a minion build, the new minion one does look pretty interesting.
Right. You're gonna go
So
minions. What are you
I'm
talking
gonna go
about?
minions anyways.
Yeah.
Um, I will say that it is nice that they have like class specific ones instead of
Yeah.
just being a whole bunch of generic abilities. I will give them that you have at least a class like specific mechanic, and that gives it a little bit more flavor. You feel a little bit more interested in it. So yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the drop rates look and feel, right? If chasing if it's hard to just find the base on like what you're chasing on anything, be it gloves, helmet, chest, and then what does it look like when you need it for a specific slot? So I imagine there'll be some tweaking. I imagine there'll be some massaging of that if it feels too frustrating, but it's all hypothetical until we actually get in there and are able to feel it. Now, like the borrowed power stuff, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately, which is weird, but it's true. I have been. Um, how the borrowed powers are really just a result of allowing us to skip the campaign. I don't think we have borrowed powers if we're not skipping the campaign because we need some sort of progression like system built in that a campaign normally would have. And they have to
Yeah.
reinvent the wheel to get us to keep coming back. and they can't just kind of go like, all right, back to the other quest. So we ignore the campaign again. When did we not have like a somewhat of a borrowed power season? Well, Vessel, because you had to do the campaign, and we had the or chase the little realm walkers, right? But because we can skip it, we always have to keep coming back to it, and it is in some ways there has been some push in Path of Exile of like, hey, we want when we make a character, we want to be able to skip the campaign after. I'm like, I don't know if you do. I don't know if you want that. Because what is cool about Path of Exile, and maybe it's a lesson for Diablo going forward, although I will say for Diablo 4, I don't think you can put the genie back in the bottle. I don't think you can like, we decided you're, granted they did shut down an auction house before, but I don't think they can like take that back. But like, how much cooler could the open world that Diablo has be if you were forced to engage with it as you're going back through the campaign, and then there were additional layers put in, like what we saw with those realm walkers or these chaos armors now being introduced, and maybe you have random portals to go into an infernal horde or whatever, making progression through the campaign feel better as opposed to reinventing the wheel every single time that we have a new season. That's just what I've been thinking about a lot lately for no real reason.
I mean, it's
Well,
I don't. Sorry, man.
I was just gonna say, well, it is. It's an interesting way of going through and thinking about it because it is a form of progression that the campaign might otherwise like fulfill. But I don't think that the campaign for Diablo 4 adds enough progression to the game for people to like use that as a metric of how far their character has gone in that particular situation. And as much as it pains me to say it, the majority of people that I know, like just they don't care even when you couldn't skip the campaign at the beginning at launch and such that just smash spacebar until people stop talking, and that's just what they did. There was like the campaign really just served no purpose, that they were just trying to get to whatever the open world was. Or I literally was just talking with another friend of mine, Muggle Mama, last night because the new Diablo 3 season started a couple of weeks ago, and she was streaming again. And she had the confession of that the only time that she's actually played through the campaign, like in Diablo 3, was for the conquest, and that
Hmm.
was to have the play through the entire game in under an hour. And that was it. Otherwise, when she started playing Reaper of Souls, there was the option to just skip and go straight into adventure mode.
Yeah, I mean it.
Or she had someone take her straight to Diablo, beat Diablo, and then straight to Malthael, and then beat Malthael.
Hmm.
It was like didn't actually have to play the campaign.
Yeah, I get. Uh, I like Path of Exile 2's campaign is very long, and making it through can be a bit of a slog. I don't think Diablo 4's campaign is that long, and if anything, it does get faster
No.
each time. Um,
Oh, I mean, I completely agree with you there, but yeah, it seems that mentality for most people is just,
right.
I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to be put on tracks.
Yeah, I think the other part, and we've talked about this at length before too, is that the early part of Diablo 4 has no value anymore. Like until you are getting to Paragon, much like in Diablo 3, none of your items matter. They don't carry over. And
I would disagree because in Diablo 3, the legendary items that you find do have like some value because of the cube.
no,
Because you just
yeah,
have to
that
you just have to find it and
that's
then it
true.
maxes in the cube. Yeah.
All right, so at least yeah, there was so Diablo 3's got that on 4 then too,
Yeah.
where there you could find something that at least had that value, whereas in D4 we are rushing now to get right to the end because that is where we can then go and get all of those things that we are searching for. So I don't know. Who knows? Uh, since we're pouring salt on a wound here, um, let's talk about the reliquary. We got a view of the new reliquary. Um, it we got Snarf from Thundercats, so that's cool. If you don't call that fox Snarf, like what are you doing? That's a deep 80s
That's
cut,
fair.
guys. That's a deep 80s
That's
cut.
fair.
Google it for I was gonna say Google it for any young listener, but let's face it, we know. We know. If you're listening to the Diablo podcast, where your age demographics are, it's right here. It's right here.
Yep.
You get that reference. You know Snarf. Um, so the Reliquary. Uh, it's been 2 seasons since they have changed the way battle passes work, introducing this new system that involves us earning currency and clicking more than we would to pick up the loot after a boss to earn our cosmetics. Uh, this launched to a decent amount of uproar, and we were told that they were going to be looking into it. There was some hope that this would be the season that it would change. It does not appear to be so. Big issues being, of course, there you get fewer cosmetics than the traditional battle pass that we were brought to launch with, and you get less platinum. Initially, you used to be able to get about 700, and you would need about 300 more to purchase the next battle pass, making it seem like a pretty good deal, right? You're earning a little bit of your currency back. Yeah, you take a 300 loss, but you get a few things along the way, and it makes it easier to buy the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Full disclosure, as Diablo partners, not you nerdwords, we do get the battle pass for
Rude.
free.
For free.
I'm just covering my bases here. I'd like to be
Fair.
open and honest. We do get the battle pass for free, except for nerdwords, and I every battle pass prior to the new system I completed. The first time they switched to the reliquary system, I didn't. And then the last one I did finish just because I made a second
You
hardcore.
played more.
Yeah, I was playing a
Yeah.
little bit
Yeah.
more. I wanted to get to the end in the old system. I don't like engaging with the new system. And I feel
Mhm.
like if you're most hardcore fans don't want to engage in the system that is meant to be driving the game forward in terms of bringing in money, that is a bad system.
Sure.
Hmm. It's just it's like one of those ones like as we've discussed before, it's a benefit to the people that don't buy the battle pass at all.
Right.
Yeah.
They now get more from it than what they were previously. And so
Mhm.
for which is probably the majority of players too, that are not buying the battle pass.
Right.
That so that they're getting the most benefit from that. But if you were a player that was buying the battle pass, not even the premium, just the regular battle pass every single season, you are now worse off for it. You're getting less return than what you were getting previously, and uh, it feels crappy. And I say this as someone that's getting the battle pass for free, that it feels crappy because now I'm getting an inferior product, and on top of that it costs more platinum than what it had previously, if you want to get everything, not even counting the premium battle pass before.
Right. It I we got accepted. Well, Nineball, you were always a Diablo partner since this show started. I got in shortly after launch. It was post pre vessel post launch of D4. Um, so I wasn't being given that access, but I did purchase. Well, I got the free. I think no, I did purchase at least one battle pass. Right, I chose with my money to purchase one battle pass, and my plan prior to uh, getting into the partnership was to do exactly that. I was never going to go with the full premium one. I would just do the regular, and up until the switch, I could still say like I would still happily give that money for this, and I just couldn't. I don't think I could in this current system justify spending it. It just to doesn't seem to add up. Like what I liked about the old system too was like, hey, 700 platinum. Okay, I could just hold on to that and then I could
Yeah.
use it in the shop. I could use it. I think I had saved up enough for when those WoW skins dropped to be like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
I'm just gonna use what I'd saved up from all those battle passes, and I'll drop it on one of these things I actually kind of like. I don't feel that with the new system. That 200 platinum, like, okay, um, that will add up 10 seasons from now to one cosmetic in the shop.
Like if you mention like the WoW ones, that's actually more because they were
Mm-hmm.
like 2,600, not even 2,000.
Right.
I think that was one of the things that had like you've gotten me. Like I bought the WoW one because the Necromancer was the Lich King, and I think I had like 2,100 platinum from that, and so I did buy the extra like 500 or whatever it was in order to get the skin. Like they got more money out of me because I hadn't gotten there yet, but I was close enough that it's like this feels worth it. I can pay $5 for a cosmetic. But yeah, like you mentioned, now like I don't even notice my platinum increasing season to season. That and so I haven't even been looking at the shop or any of the new skins.
Yeah, I haven't looked in a long time myself, like a long time myself. But I also haven't played in a while too, right? So, I bought the one of the WoW set skins, and I've just been like, okay, cool. I've got my outfit now, and I just transmog eventually late season, and the rest of the time I just try to make my gear I'm currently wearing look as cool as I can. But yeah, I don't spend a lot of time with the reliquary system at all, and I haven't bought a battle pass since the first one that they made me get with my free one. So I literally haven't gotten one since because that was so frustrating um, and really silly. So yeah, and I had planned to buy all of them basically. I think when we talked about the expansion was leading up, I was like, hey, look, this is a way for me to funnel and support the Diablo team and support Diablo content. Um, I didn't feel like I was getting that return on the investment, so I have not done that.
And I think it's fair. It's also, to not to kick it while it's down. It's just not intuitive. Like no part of it feels good. If you accidentally open it when you're out in combat and you have like 10 menus to get back, no. I don't like dealing with the shop and I don't like dealing with the reliquary. It just doesn't feel good. And when I do actually want to choose something from it, I have to click 3 different times to confirm it and then try not to pay in
Mhm.
platinum. Like, no.
And and then also like you'll have the little pop-up. It's like you've gotten a new token, you've gotten a new token, you've got a new token. Before, you'd have that pop up like a couple of times while going through and playing, and you log back in, it's like, okay, let me like click all these buttons and get all these cosmetics. And now it's like I have to wait for that thing to pop up 15 times before I can click
Yeah,
the cosmetic. It's like I have to wait for it to pop up like 5 or 6 times to get like a weapon transmog. And so it's just like it's
yeah,
it's like at the end of the at the end of my play session, it will just be like, okay, can I unlock everything? Okay, I can get the pet for 2, and then I have to, well, tomorrow unlock something else. All right, good night.
Well,
yeah,
I think the other part of it is that right now, I think I've banked as many as I can to roll over. So when the next season starts, those are going to just get applied, and then I'm just done with it anyway. um, which kind of takes away a little bit of those first couple days of like, oh, I'm slowly progressing the battle pass. Awesome, sweet, a new armor, yay! And I'm not being bombarded by a bunch of messages about getting the currency to have to go and check it. None of it's an upgrade. All of it is bad. Maybe we go back. That's it. I think like at this point, go back. Let's not hold on. Maybe. Maybe.
maybe.
So next week, as you're staring at your reliquary screen, deciding how to spend all those points. What class are you going to be in? What are your plans for the season itself, guys?
I mean, I don't think there's a big shock from either of us in this regard. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure we've let it slip already what we're planning to play, but nine.
yeah. Sever Necromancer. I'm done.
Sorceress and undecided on the build. I'm gonna let the gear see what happens, but I'm definitely eyeing the charge bolt changes to hopefully have some sort of different play loop for the sorcerer. So,
That's fair. I had a great time this season with the new Hydrosork. I that was my hardcore character that I carried into. I don't think I hit T4. I think I carried it into just Torment 3, um,
mm,
but didn't die. I got distracted. Um,
right.
it was a good time. I think obviously I'm gonna start Druid, but then it's I don't know what the second character is. I'm my intention right now is I'm gonna start hardcore. Last year or last season, since I was more on the fence, it was like I'll just do softcore, and then I'll if I really like it, I'll go into hardcore. I feel pretty good about this season. I feel better about this season than I did going into the last one, and obviously definitely better than the one before it. Um, it just feels like I I have a better understanding of what I'm getting into. I know what to expect of this. I know how to go into it. It's not to say that I'm like this is the best version of this game yet. I don't think it is. But I think it's going to be a good time for what it is until it can get to where it needs to be. Um, I think that's the best way to approach D4 right now. We know there are good things on the horizon. We know there will be an expansion. We have no idea when that will be. Uh, Gentlemen, it's September, which means realistically, we'll hear about what season 11 is in 2 months because we'll get a PTR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll get a season right before. You think we'll get a season right before
I
Christmas? That seems
I
wrong.
think I think we'll get a PTR in December and then the season in January.
Yeah, that would make the most sense. So then we would get the newest season in January. Hmm. And we got April for the season after that. I was looking at the infographic today, guys. When do you think we get the new roadmap? Because the roadmap is at this point burned up. We know this was the last season on the map.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We were teased through the campfire that season 11 is going to focus on tempering and masterwork changes.
looking forward to it.
I don't know if that is the season or if that is just like, hey, we're going to rework this. Other things are going to happen too. But when do we hear about an expansion? Like we know it exists. When do we get the concrete details at this point? Because it feels like the biggest question mark.
God.
January, April,
I
July, October. Then that would be our cadence.
Yeah, and I am not expecting it till a minimum of quarter three. Myself, so I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe we get something going into like the new year.
It can't be
Yeah,
October.
maybe.
It can't. Yeah, it can't be October because you're too close to Grand Theft Auto. July or April. Summer release for Diablo. It's been done before.
Maybe, yeah.
I I don't think it's coming. That is gonna be way later than that to me.
Here we are debating over when
I
this expansion's going to
I
go, but
I also don't think that they're going to factor Grand Theft Auto into it quite so much.
I don't think so either. And they
Yeah,
honestly can't because we don't have any actual window. Like we don't know when Grand Theft Auto is coming.
well, there's a date.
No.
Well, they gave a date. Whether or not they hold to the date is different.
I can tell you that there's no
Right.
firm date that exists.
Well, yeah.
100% from people that entire livelihood revolves around that announcement. There is no date. We're all waiting, and everyone is waiting. But what I would say is that like with BlizzCon next year, I would imagine there's going to be something heavy for Diablo at that BlizzCon.
Well, it's the 30th
I think,
anniversary.
right. I'll be honest with you. I have two sides to this coin, and neither side is positive. One, if we're going to get it, I think that we get it either released around that time frame, so it'd have to be announced before that,
Mhm.
or announced then. But I still don't believe we're getting expansion 2.
At all?
Nope. It's never happened. I am 40 years old.
Mhm.
I have never gotten a second Diablo expansion in my life, and I don't think this is the team to do it. So I hope I'm wrong, but I'm not hopeful that it's going to happen. So I'm counting on Diablo 4 being Diablo 4 until Diablo 5.
Wow. Um, we'll get you a plate of crow because I think it's going to happen.
Sure. Hey, I'd be
Mhm.
happy to munch on it. You guys know I love eating crow on this podcast. I love it. It's my
It's been a
favorite.
while.
I know. It's been a while. But again, like I don't have what do I have to go on, right? Like it's coming. It's coming, guys. Cool. Where's it at?
That's true. I,
What are we
I
waiting on?
I wonder with this expansion if Vessel got such a long runway. Like if you look at initial announcement of Vessel of Hatred at Game Awards, or it was Game Awards, right?
I
No,
think so, yeah.
yeah.
No,
Vessel.
it
Or is
was
it?
BlizzCon.
Oh yeah, BlizzCon. So we get the
Was it?
initial announcement
Okay.
Yeah.
because we got
Yeah,
that
BlizzCon was the official announcement. I mean, I guess technically they started talking about the first expansion before the game launched.
correct.
But we got Vessel of Hatred as the announcement at
Right.
BlizzCon.
And then everything got stretched out for a while. I mean, it was from that announcement all the way until when did Vessel launch? Was it October? September?
So that would
October?
place it like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, close to
I'll
a
say it
year.
was.
Which during that time, what did they do? They slow dripped a lot of information, but very slowly. Like we learned that there were going to be ruins. We learned that there were going to be mercenaries, and each one of those little bits was a separate marquee event. We got the reveal of the Spiritborn. That was in June. No, that was in July. That was in July when they revealed the Spiritborn because I was there with Rod Ferguson for that. Um, we're talking like from October to July of a huge runway for this to be built, and it didn't do so hot, right? It's petered out. Maybe what they're going to do is truncate that. Maybe we shouldn't expect the game to be announced a year out, but maybe we should see it 5 months out, 4 months out, which
I mean,
I think
I mean,
I think at this point I'm saying July. At this point I say July. Given I think if it was April we would be it's still September. I could see maybe April. It's April or July. It's got to be one of those two. I don't think October, and then if it's not October, it's 2020 2027. Ugh.
yeah,
I don't think it goes that far. So here it is for the last time until next time. We're saying April or July.
you're saying April or July.
Yeah,
I'm still saying quarter 3. I'm still saying quarter 3.
and I'm still saying I'll believe it when I see it.
that's fair. I think
So,
we're
Yeah.
probably still someone go back check any other episode. I'm sure we're still about the exact same as what we were before, but we're getting closer to somebody being right. And if not somebody being right, somebody definitely being wrong. And let's face it.
oh, 100%, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
probably all of us won't be right, but at least one of us will be very wrong. And that's
And
Nerdblades.
that's just as
I
fun.
I don't think there's
Okay.
any there's no overlap in like any of our opinions. So
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like
Yeah,
two of us believe it will happen and one of us doesn't. So one of us is going to be very wrong and two of us will be off on timing. I mean,
fair, fair.
yeah. So,
I would be happy to be wrong.
yeah,
It's almost a dare. I'm daring the Diablo team to make me wrong because they totally care, right?
they do. They are
Yeah.
very upset
It's
right
very
now.
important to them. Yeah.
Um because they have nothing better to do than
It's
tune
true.
in and be like, "Oh, yeah, he doesn't even think it's going to happen. We better put the coffee on,
Get
boys. We're doing
better
this
get it
thing."
right now. Nerdwords is on one again. Yep.
um okay, but it will be interesting to see if we do find a new roadmap kind of come our way to maybe set some new expectations. Because if all we hear is season 11 and it's new more borrowed powers, I think people will be a little bit more upset. I think with season 11, it will need to also have some vision towards that future.
Yeah. Though I will say, that the hint that we got was that it was going to be the tempering masterworking. They're going and working on the masterworking and tempering, which you and I have seen a preview of NDA. But the original masterwork and tempering rollout, there, that was the seasonal theme. There wasn't anything else to go along with it, and that was enough. And was, as we talked about previously, was like what some of our favorite seasons. One of our favorite seasons was season 4 for that. And so if they do it right and make the itemization interesting again, that could be in and of itself. And then if they do still add in some perks or borrowed power or something like that, that could be awesome. You know, to just have a great mechanical change at the base of the game, and then just like a little something sprinkled on top of that.
Or it could feel just like a rehash. And if we don't know where we're going with it, that was the other part. Like I think what made Loot Reborn really work, it was like, hey, we also know we have an expansion on the horizon with this season because we had Loot Reborn, you had the Infernal Hordes as a buffer because it was a 2 month season. Then we got Vessel. It was like, okay, this is a cool new system. They're gonna add a layer on top of here. They're gonna add something else. And unfortunately, it just didn't. Some of what made Loot Reborn great was the promise of what it was going to like lead into, and then the
Yeah.
fun of it.
I I don't think that for my own enjoyment that was a consideration whatsoever. I
You're
just
telling me
enjoyed Loot Reborn.
when you were crafting and you were
Mhm.
tempering on these things, you weren't
Yep.
thinking like, oh, this is it. This is where the foundation is being built. That each item that I'm crafting right now is going to build to a greater Diablo 4. That is that not how you guys craft? Is that not what you think about when you're tempering? I mean, probably not
No,
anymore, but
no,
then, no. Well,
nope.
I don't know.
Mm-mm.
Maybe you guys need
I
to
was
read
I was
into
not
things a little bit more.
I was just having fun tempering the items, not thinking that, oh, this is cool because of what they're going to add to it in the expansion that they never added to.
Yeah.
As you said, I was just having
You got to
fun in the
read
moment.
between the lines as you're tempering because it does take a while.
Okay.
Like you don't rush it. Like you can push the button, but if you let the blacksmith do his thing, you get to sit and you get to think about the future of the franchise and how each successful craft is building a better future for the game. Like it's right there. It's like literally surface level analysis. I don't know why you guys aren't doing this. You're just missing out. Um, maybe it's just a me thing.
Well, I mean, look where it got you.
It's true.
It
Uh,
got you disappointment.
it did. It didn't
Yeah.
build me a better future. That's okay. It's okay. I choose hope, guys. I choose hope in these dark times. I always choose hope.
I always hope.
I always choose hope because this thing that I built up in my head didn't happen and it made me disappointed in the game. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of a meta narrative, really. Like it's the campaign that I'm going through in my head
that's
because
fair.
we already skipped the regular one. If I had a structured narrative, I wouldn't have to invent plots in my brain, but here I am. Okay, we are
Here we
dovetailing.
go.
We have a
Yep.
season coming up. I think we are all generally excited. I do feel better for this season than I have in a long time. It'll be fun to kind of jump in, um, and we'll get back together in. Well, you know what, guys? I think we'll probably not get together next week because we'll be playing. And I think next time we should get back together. Uh, Maybe with somebody who knows like a little bit more about Diablo than we do. Like I feel like we love Diablo, but do we really understand it? Why don't we bring in Adam Jackson and he can come and talk to us about what is like behind the scenes? He can maybe confirm my theories about tempering and masterworking, building a better future for the game. Like the subtext is what I think what was missing there. So we're gonna get back together in 2 weeks. We're gonna bring in Adam Jackson to come and talk Diablo with us. Um, so no episode for the immediate postseason, and we'll talk about our seasonal exploits with Adam Jackson and all about the game. So if you have questions for Adam, post them in the comments, and we'll bring them on into the conversation. And in the meantime, we'll close it out as we always do with a moo, moo, moo,
Moo, moo, moo, moo, moo.
Ooh.
moo.